What did I just witness? What did I just witness? We haven't gotten content from this company in 1 month. We got 2 Fade to Black, Bound for Glory videos. We had the Hardys. And then we had, Open Fight Night. 4 shows, 4 weeks, nothing but mostly pre-recordings that were already shown weeks or months before. And now we get this show. It does not feel important. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it doesn't feel important. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're going to complain about everything. You don't like anything. No. I'm going to ask you simply. If you've not seen anything from a show for 1 whole year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they finally release something, that's like an old TV show. If you haven't seen anything from them for 5 to 10 years, and they finally release something, and you wonder, are they going to pick up where they left off? Are they going to do something special? Are they going to add something? Are they going to take something out? And that's what this is. We get nothing for a whole month. They take off. They give us pre-recordings of everything. Documentaries, then the Hardy stuff, what they've done years before. And then they did the Open Fight Night. Matches that we already know they did already. Or matches that should have been saved for a turning point. But didn't happen. So we get this. A show where, yes, it got some good stuff in it. But then the ending is like one huge schmoz. One big clusterfuck of where most people would say this is incredible. And many people are going to say this is bullshit. And I'm going to say it's somewhere in between. But it's not about being overbooked or underbooked. It's about importance, relevance. And it makes some cases no sense. But also, it does make some sense. That's what we're getting here. Let's open. All right. I'm going to make this very clear. The opening with Santana, I liked. Now, of course, he was speaking Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what he said in Spanish for people who are Puerto Rican. So I do not know what he said. But I had to take a guess that he was trying to make sure that everyone would know that since he's the first Puerto Rican-born TNA champ, that he's going to do what he's got to do to bring them with pride. That's not a bad thing to say, no matter if it's in English or Spanish. Doesn't matter. And then we get Ryan Nemeth coming out, making it very clear that the next champ is going to be his big brother. But pissing off Santana, where then Ryan tries to hit him, and he's looking around like, is this a joke? Are you kidding me right now? You know what? And this is when I knew there was something not exactly right. I didn't know what it was. Something was not right. Doesn't mean it was bad. It was like, if you're going to give Santana a quick win, this was fine. Having him go up against Ryan, let him win at the end of the show, and if his brother shows up because he was delayed in his flight, that would make some sense. Yes, it's cliche, but it's understandable. So that's what I thought. Danny Luna versus Indy Hartwell. Too little, too late. This is a 2-month... Understand. Danny Luna screwed over Indy, hurt her, messed up her opportunity, and she was gone. At least now 2 months. 2 months ago, she was nailed because of Danny, and she couldn't do anything. And now after 2 months, she's now allowed to go up against Danny Luna with no build. None. And once you see the match, which was not too bad, it was a little sloppy at certain points, but it wasn't bad. You see Danny getting pissed off, grabbing a table, not a table, but a chair, wanting to whack Indy, but Indy gets that chair, hits her in the back, DQs it, Danny wins, but now you want, and this is Indy, she wants a no DQ match at the Impact Plus show. You see me botching here. You see me botching at Turning Point. And here's the problem. No build. No build for Indy. No build for Danny. The most we saw from Danny was the video that was from last week from Open Fight Night when she went up against a Jody Threat. That's it. That's it. They've gone against each other before. Remember, when they had that series, when they're trying to match one another to try and get some cohesion together. And I'm like, it needs build. It needs at least 2 weeks or 3 of build to give Danny Luna to talk, to give Indy the ability to talk, to have something from Jody Threat. Nothing. So now we're going to get this match and it feels empty. Next, Hunch versus Cedric Alexander. This is just a match they threw out there with 2 good high-flying wrestlers. I will tell you this. Was I interested in the match? Yeah, it was a good match. It was. I liked it. But I want to say this. Seeing that the Hardys are now involved because they got one of their own North Carolinian, because Cedric is from North Carolina, no problem. Actually, I want to see them called the North Carolina Boys. The Carolina Boys. Actually, that's what I kind of wish someone would figure out. You got Cedric. You got Matt. Well, Matt and Jeff. Call them until Cedric leaves the Carolina Boys. Let them all work together. Yes, you can have Cedric trying to go after the X Division Championship or the International Championship. And I know I'm not forgetting about Rich Swann. I'm just saying, as things progress, you could do this. And that's not a bad thing. I'm all right with that. Let the Carolina Boys work together. Let those 3 guys work together. It's actually what makes some sense. They're all from North Carolina. They all work together. Let them be a team. Let them be a faction. Because you got Leon Slater off on his own, working with Devon Evans. Let them have a little bit of Cedric Alexander with them. I actually wouldn't mind that. So that was all right. But here's the thing. Seeing that he got his ass kicked easy would piss him off. And that was Ali. And he decided to go after Elijah, who just came back after elbow surgery. I think it was elbow or arm surgery, somewhere in his arm or elbow. He needed surgery for that. He came back. He was playing the guitar. He did good. It's not much different what he did back in WWE. Let's make it very clear. You have Joe Henry not doing the music anymore. He doesn't need to anymore. He's gotten over enough. But that's more of Elijah's thing now. Let him deal with it. It's all right. It's fine. I actually don't mind it. Not everyone will, but I don't personally mind it. He plays very well on guitar. He sings pretty well as well. And then seeing that he got his ass handed to him by Ali with the same type of guitar that you would see from a Jeff Jarrett. Of course, we're going to do the Jeff Jarrett reference. It's got to be there. There's going to be a Jeff Jarrett segment, of course. Seeing that white guitar whacked off his arm, the question is going to be, what now after Turning Point? Because Ali made it clear he wants his boys to go up against the Carolina Boys at Turning Point. So after that, maybe he will deal with Elijah at maybe Final Resolution, if they go there. Ash is not there again. We still don't know what happened with Ash. She has not stated what the injury was or what the problem is. But Heather was there, and she gets her shot against Kiani Jordan. I'm not surprised they put her up against Kiani. They need to do something. And yes, we did have that segment where we saw Mara Sage. You got Xia Brookside and Ling Yang Lee saying, girl, we understand what happened in NXT is not right, but you don't have to do that with us. We don't have no problem. We don't. We're not going to treat you like that. We're family here. And Kiani made it very clear. Kiani's for Kiani, and she don't give 2 damn flips. She's going to be her, which actually kind of works, since she is with the guy who's known as him. When they finally start working together, because they could work together if those 2 get married, you're going to have him and her. They're going to go there. He is him. She is her. Him and her. They're going to go there. They will eventually go there when they finally work together. But did I care about the match? Not really. They could have done this at Turning Point. But since there's no guarantee that Turning Point is going to allow Kiani to do that, because she has to have her match at Gold Rush, They had her match here. That's the thing. I know that Kiani's got to be at Gold Rush. It's a 2-week thing. She's going to be, I think, on night 2 of Gold Rush, not night 1. So they are not going to let her do double duty like that. She can get hurt before she actually does the match on NXT. That's why they did this. And it kind of sucks, though, because you should have your champion on Gold Rush. I'm just saying. Last match, Mike Santana versus a Ryan Nimitz. And this is where all the craziness begins. But before we get to that, let's talk about, what is this girl's name? Nia Moore or Nia Moore. I understand that 2 women were signed to TNA months ago. She's one of them. And they showed a video pack of her, which was alright. Just like when it came to the Knockouts Tag Division, and they showed all 4 women talking, all 4 of them had a chance to speak. Unlike in AEW, where you're not hearing anything from any of the women in the tournament, I'm telling you, like, one-on-one booking, it's good to see these women talk. Yes, Ling Yang Lee and Xia Brookside are very generic. The Angel Warriors feel very generic. But when you look at a Victoria Crawford with Tessa Blanchard, they got way more character. I'm being honest here. Out of all the women there, especially the Inspiration, they have the most character. And they look like they really like each other. Not saying that Jesse and Cass don't like each other and Xia and Ling doesn't like each other. But they just have the most personality. And to be honest, when it comes to Inspiration, they have now gone back to default of acting like the Iconics. I was hoping so badly they would not go into that stick. They've only been back a few months. And they've already settled right back into the Iconic stick. Now, I know people would say, well, that's how they are. They're iconic. But they promised they wouldn't go down that route so easily. And they just did. They did it when they did their first run 3 years ago. And now they've been back a couple of months. And they went right back to it within a few months. And I feel like they're shortchanging the fans. And themselves. I truly want to see more personality from them other than the iconic personality. Honestly. Jess and Cass, they should show more range because I believe they could do it. I'm actually not someone against them. But if they go straight into the Iconic stick so quickly, within a few months, within a month, maybe even 2, they started doing the Iconic stick heavily now. Look what they did in that segment. Inspiration? Showing the tits, yeah, great. But you can't tell me that isn't Iconics. And you can't tell me they didn't say, in multiple interviews before they did their first run after they left WWE, they promised they would do stuff differently, and they didn't. And now they went away 3 years, they had kids, they're back, and within a few months, they've done the same thing again. And actually, I'm quite disappointed in them. I wanted to see more from them because I believe they deserve more credit. Like AJ Francis. Everyone thought AJ was nothing but trash. And he proved he can do it, even though, as I've said, he should retire Tennessee Whiskey for a little while. But he's done everything else. He's charismatic. He can work in the ring. He can do work. I've seen him do it. I'm not saying he's the greatest worker. He doesn't have to be. This is about relevance as much as about in-ring prowess. In Iconics, they're not the greatest wrestlers, but they do have character, but they're using the same old characters. And honestly, if you brought the beautiful people out compared to the Iconics, the beautiful people will blow the water out of them, not just because of their history with TNA, but they do their stick better. At least they added to it before they finally finish adding and say, we're done, we're perfect. Iconics didn't even try to add anything. At least I can say with Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, they did add more later like they did with Madison Rayne. They did add a little bit more of turning faces. They add a little bit of that into their stick. Not a lot, of course. But they get their butts kicked by them. And it upsets me to see that. They didn't even bother to wait to try and go straight to Inspiration, Iconics, instead of building a little bit more of the personality. Moving on. The Cleanse is coming. I don't know who's coming. I do believe there's going to be a new wrestler coming in, and it can't just be Eric Young saying the cleanse is coming. He was outside handing leaflets and pamphlets saying the cleanse is coming. I believe he's going to get a new person in on his side. Someone's coming in, and I think they'll work with him. Could be wrong. And don't tell me who it is if there is someone. Do not tell me who it is if there is someone coming. Don't want to know. It's more fun to be surprised than just know that someone's coming. Yes, I know there's more than a few more wrestlers coming in that have been released from WWE. That is a good chance they will be going to TNA. I don't want to know who they are because I haven't checked. It's more fun to guess by the time it happens. I think Final Resolution is when you'll probably see that person, not at Turning Point. Now, let's get to the elephant in the room. Well, two elephants. We got two. The first one is the system. They will be having a match at Turning Point with the Rascals. With we already know. I've already heard it. Desmond Xavier is coming back because he has been released from WWE. They're going to bring back the Rascals. It's going to be him. Fine. I have no problem with him because I'm glad to see him back. But the person that's not going to be back after Genesis is Dirty Dango. Johnny Curtis has been married for the last 2 months. And as you saw during the segment for the 27 years this man worked in the business. 27 years. He started back in the 90s, guys. 27 years. He's worked his ass off, probably as a teenager, all the way up until he's now, and then gets married a couple of months ago. And as he said, his wife and handler talked with him and said, after Genesis, I should officially retire from in-ring work. So that means he could be working in the back in TNA. He doesn't have to leave. He just doesn't work in the ring anymore. And that's fine. If Johnny Curtis doesn't work in the ring anymore, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Hell, I want to see him as a manager. Johnny Curtis, Dirty Dango, JTC as a manager would be fun because he knows how to talk. He knows how to do the business. And even though he officially retires from in-ring work, doesn't mean he couldn't once in a while come back and do at least a 1 or 2 off. And that's what I'm hoping for. But when you saw the segment, you can see when he took the mic from Brian that he said, I'm sorry. I don't think he really, could this be already known between them all? Yeah, they could have known. But I think they didn't. I don't think everyone there in the ring knew that he's openly saying that he's going to retire. I think he actually surprised because when you looked at Alicia, who got a lot of praise being she's hardcore, which she laid on a bed of thumbtacks after Agent Zero put her through it. She's now earned a lot more recognition as not one of the best hardcore female wrestlers, but at least she's known to do it now. But after that, and hearing JTC saying 2 months ago I got married, all of these suckers were with me. You had Tommy Dreamer wearing some weird blazer. Moose couldn't dance. But my wife, my handler, said, it's time to retire. After Genesis, just be done. And you could see openly that he was upset that he made this announcement. Maybe it's due to the fact that she just doesn't want him on the road anymore. Maybe it's due to the fact that he has injuries and she's worried for his health. That could be it as well. Why he's officially retiring. He could actually have more injuries. Or he still has the same injury that took him out for a little bit. And maybe, or maybe, just maybe, he wants to do something else other than pro wrestling. You never know. But in the end, seeing how they were upset and Alicia coming over to him saying, you're all right. And he's saying, I'm sorry. So I don't think that was scripted. I think he legitimately did not tell anybody. And he wanted to say it at Full Sail University, a place that he knows pretty well, when he was Breezango, working with Tyler Breeze, and doing all the work he had been doing on SmackDown and then going there. Honestly, I'm thinking that this is going to be very special in Genesis. If that really is his last match, and I do believe it is, after 27 years, he's going to be there for 30 years. He's probably started when he was a teen. It's going to be a sad day, because I've always liked Dirty Dango. Always did. But it's just me. Final part. Let's make this very clear. Did I like the ending when Nick finally shows up with the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Cup, gets his ass handed to him, looked like it was Jensen who kicked him in the head. So Jensen, I thought, was gone and now he's back again? Unless Jensen's going to be on TNA's roster, he was supposedly released, and now he's back again? If he ever left before. Then the entire roster of NXT for the men show up. You see Santana gets his ass kicked. You see that Ryan gets his ass kicked. You see that many of the other rosters, including a Steve Macklin, tries to come out and he gets his ass kicked. And you see them standing over the carcass of not just Mike Santana, but everybody else. I'm like, did they really go there? They went there once, seeing NXT show up due to the fact of Gold Rush. Since it's going to be next week, they wanted to make a presence there because of what happened with Ava talking with Santino, and now we have Ariana Grace back again as the liaison between both companies. But then, you think that's it? No. After that long segment in the beginning of the show for Mike Santana, you then get Kazarian grabbing the cup since he was laid out. He grabs the cup from Nick, goes in the ring, tries to win the match. And I'm going, why would they go and do this just before Turning Point? You know they're not going to be stupid enough to actually make a Mike Santana who's really over job, and they did. Fucking Mike Santana jobbed to Frankie Kazarian. And Frankie just won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. No, sorry. You see, I'm getting upset. He cashes in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. And he wins the match. Well, Mike Santana's arm had already been crushed. That's a good thing. They tried to protect him. They put a chair around his arm. They smashed that with Mr. Stone. So he was already heavily beaten up. And he was easily fatigued and badly battered to protect him. But they went there as well. And this is what gets me. 1 month. 1 whole month. We see nothing of Santana to be able to have any matches, to get any in-ring segments, to get any interviews other than the one that was already pre-recorded at Fade to Black. We get nothing from Mike. He gets his first true match on the show live. And not only does he get his ass handed to him by everyone in NXT that showed up, then he loses the title to Frankie Kazarian. And this is before Turning Point. Short-term gain. That's what I'm thinking. A short-term gain for TNA. That's what this feels like. Does it give a long-term loss? I do not know yet. I don't. It's going to depend on 2 things. Well, actually 3. I take that back. First, Gold Rush. Both nights. This coming week and the next week before Thanksgiving. That's the first thing. See how much WWE is going to give them. The second, Turning Point. What are we going to see on Turning Point for Santana, for Frankie Kazarian, for everyone else? What are we getting for Turning Point? And then finally, the last thing we're going to have is Final Resolution. What are they going to do for Final Resolution? Will we get something special on, I think it's December 3rd. What are we getting? Because that will pretty much be the last real thing we'll get before the last few recordings before Christmas and New Year's, because we will get nothing after that. Remember, the last couple of years, they show nothing until a certain point in January, either halfway into January or near the end of January. If we're lucky, they will start showing, they will start in the beginning of January, and maybe the middle of January will actually get content. If not, they will wait until the end of January, and they will give us Genesis. I haven't checked. Don't tell me. I have not checked to see when Genesis of 2026 is happening. If it's at the end of January and they show us no new content, maybe one, if we're lucky, maybe we'll have halfway in the month. It's going to be very, very, very important they do a great impression for Gold Rush, Turning Point, and Final Resolution, because we're not going to have anything but maybe 2 more recordings in the middle of December, if we're lucky, 2. And then we get nothing. Nothing for Christmas, nothing for New Year's. We won't even get anything for Thanksgiving but a pre-recording of probably stuff they've already shown. So this week is the one that's coming. Will be probably the last week before December. Unless they're willing to give us something on Thursday that is recorded correctly. That's it. So they went there. But did it work? Will it work? Can it work? I don't know. But it's just me. Peace.